Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the final video of this series, Tips for Toastmasters. Or at least final before the epilogue, let's say. If you've made it this far, that means you are damn serious about joining the club. Now, I'm going to tell you in this video what I wish someone told me before pursuing my Toastmasters journey. If you wish to become a stronger speaker and a better leader, you cannot rely on what is given to you by the Toastmasters Pathway program alone. That should be strictly seen as a supplement to whatever else is going on in your life. Yes, everyone, apparently there are mixed opinions about Toastmasters pathways. To further assist you in your journey to become a stronger speaker and leader, I have prepared before you a set of 12 books. Well, there's 11 right here. I do not have the 12th, but I'm still going to talk about it. These books that we see here are tremendous resources for you to become a better overall person. Screw public speaking, communication, leadership. If you assimilate and internalize the lessons contained herein, you are going to become a star. Let's go through them one by one. Remember how we started this series with a very rogue, renegade, maverick take that before you even think about being a better speaker, you must become a better person, right? Well, to become a better person, you must become accustomed to adopting better habits. So what better book to start off this list than with Atomic Habits by James Clear? This book tells you about what comprises habits. That way you double down on your good ones and you get rid of the bad ones. Use the lessons of Atomic Habits in all aspects of your life, even in those where no one is watching. That way you can truly become a better person, not just a performer, so to speak. Speaking of habits, the second book on this list is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey. Now, applying these lessons after having read this book, it's gonna make you something else. And the cool thing about these 7 habits is that they could be applied practically anywhere, not just in public speaking. Again, use these as your foundation to get rid of your bad habits and practice better ones. That way you could establish a firm foundation for you to become a stronger person on top of it. After those, now that you've improved yourself in how you think and do things, now you have to improve yourself in how you say things. This is the sort of bridge between thinking and doing and saying, and that would be one of my all-time favorites, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. If you read it correctly, it will make you snap out of all the bad social habits that you might possibly have. Again, with the habit books in mind, to get rid of your bad habits, your bad social habits, and double down on your good ones, and to adopt some new ones that are mentioned in this book in order for the people to see you as a more valuable person. But his advice only works if you have good intentions. The main idea of this book is that the best way for you to help yourself is by truly and genuinely helping others. That way, for your message to be better understood, you might need a book like How to Communicate by authors McKay, Davis, and Fanning. I actually got this book for sale, but you know what? I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a basic but comprehensive primer for anyone to speak and how to speak at a variety of different occasions. I think the only book that might top it, which isn't included on this list because I find it way too hard and specific of a reference guide, would be Emily Post's Etiquette But nah, that book talks about other things that just don't fit the scope of public speaking and leadership. But how to communicate. If you're going to read one book out of this list for you to become a better Toastmaster, this is the one. The main takeaway here is, it was actually one of the topics that I mentioned earlier in the series, that for you to be a better speaker, you must first be a good listener. One of my favorite chapters here mentions that 90% or so of communication is nonverbal. What better book to teach you about nonverbal communication than What Everybody Is Saying by Joe Navarro. Yeah, the author, Joe Navarro, he is or was an FBI agent who specialized in performing some high-stakes interviews for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Here he shares some of the things that he has learned from observing people's movement, their gestures, their body language, as well as what they might mean. The lessons here are actually super useful for learning how to better present yourself physically, whether it's in front of a crowd, in front of someone who's interviewing you, or at the very least, in front of your circle of friends, so that your movements can give further meaning, or can further supplement what you are saying in order to complete your story or your anecdote, whatever it might be. I don't know if I mentioned this, but the books are in a very logical order. The first two talk about habits. How to Win Friends talks about charisma, how to be seen, or not seen better, but how to be received better by a listener, how to communicate better, how to do nonverbal communication better. Well, you use all that with this book in mind, another Dale Carnegie book, Public Speaking for Success. I remember reading it thinking, wow, these are all the lessons of how to win friends, but in a public speaking context. Like, if you're gonna read one book as a Toastmaster, read this. Once you have the skills of that book down, time to develop the skills into developing a captivating message, a captivating story. The perfect book for that would be The Storyteller's Secret by Carmine Gallo, or is it Gallo? Gallo?
Carmine Gallo.
Gallo, Carmine Gallo. Yeah, this guy wrote another book called Talk Like TED, which talks about the secrets behind award-winning TED Talks. But I actually like this one a little better because I like stories, I like listening to stories, and everyone, of course, loves a damn good story. That's why we're so addicted to freaking Netflix. You could use the techniques here in order to make a story worth listening to, make your message worth listening to. All right, everyone, the following book, I admit, is a very controversial one, at least in terms of adding it in this list. But you know what? I wanted to include it because the key takeaway here can be applied in your speech, in your stories, in order to make them more captivating, more authentic, and more you. I'm talking about Models by Mark Manson. On its own, this is the dating book to end all dating books. But the reason I say that is because it focuses on honesty. For you to be a better speaker, you must be brutally honest. If you lie, if you are not authentic, and if people find out, it destroys you. So, what if you use everything that we've learned so far to make you a more valuable person? That way you can present yourself honestly in order to make you a more captivating speaker and leader. The next three books, they all talk about different aspects in how to speak in high stakes situations. Namely, Verbal Judo, Crucial Conversations, and Never Split the Difference. Let's talk about them one at a time. Verbal Judo was written by a former English professor who took a radical career change to become a police officer. When he was out in the field, he would use his knowledge of language and rhetoric to subdue, using only words, he would subdue the unruly suspect to restore peace. Isn't that amazing? I think this quote in the back sums up the core message really well. When you react, the event controls you. When you respond, you're in control. For tense situations, for hecklers in your crowd, use a little bit of verbal judo. Next, we have crucial conversations, how to speak when the stakes are high. This one is more so applied in workplaces and how to add value and quality to your conversations, your dialogue, and so forth. Yeah, that way, again, these two complement each other very well. Use this to become a better asset for your workplace. But if things go rogue, it could be in the workplace, it could be outside. And it really depends on you to be a careful, calculated speaker. Look no further than Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. He is another FBI author. Chris Voss, though, his specialty was in negotiation, specifically negotiating to rescue those who were kidnapped. Of all things, this one is key in handling conflict. That way you can use everything that we've learned so far for you to be a masterful leader in a way that makes you resolute, tactful, and why not classy? The 12th and final book, I don't have it with me right now, but it specifically is required reading if you are to be in a leadership position. I am talking about The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker. This book really hones in on the point that you could be the smartest person in the room. You as the manager, boss, CEO, whatever, or some other officer position, you could have the highest IQ in that room. But if you don't know how to effectively lead a group of people, you are shit out of luck, my friend. Effectiveness is the overall theme of that book, and it portrays it as a skill that can be learned and improved upon in order to make you like Toastmasters, a stronger leader built upon how you communicate your message by being a better speaker. And with that, I conclude my top 12 list of the books you need, in my opinion, to make you a better Toastmaster, and not just a better Toastmaster, but a stronger speaker, a better leader. Again, the order that I see as best is Atomic Habits, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence People, How to Communicate, What Everybody is Saying, Public Speaking for Success, The Storyteller's Secret, Models, Verbal Judo, Crucial Conversations, and Never Split the Difference. Oh, of course, and The Effective Executive by Peter Drucker, which is currently not here right now. If you read these, even if you don't join Toastmasters, if you read all these, and internalize the lesson. Yeah, because you could move your eyes across the words, you could take all the notes you want, but if you don't change as a result, then what's the flippin' point? If you apply what these books say in your life, you will be a star in the eyes of the community. Or like I said, at the very least, amongst your circle of friends. With that I say, have a good one, take care, study hard, and kick ass.